Today we're going to summarize two of the lessons that we have previously learned. The first one is possessives and the second one is irregular verbs. Okay, so let's start with the possessives. Alright, so we will start with a question. I'm going to ask you a question. Does, for example, he or does Ahmed, let's say, does Ahmed have a cell phone? Alright, so you might answer my question with two different forms. The first form is that I'm going to say yes, for example, yes, Ahmed has a black cell phone. Or you might say that Ahmed's cell phone is black. Okay? Alright, so in the first answer I used a regular sentence. Okay, I said Ahmed has a black cell phone. Okay, but in the second answer or in the second form I have used here a possessive noun. Okay, so what is a possessive noun? Alright, so possessive noun is a noun that shows ownership. Okay? It shows that you own something or you have something. Okay? So let's see the difference between the first form and the second form. Okay? Here I said that Ahmed has a phone or Ahmed has a black cell phone. In the second form I replaced has with apostrophe and s. Okay? So we can understand that the owner here is Ahmed. Okay? Ahmed is the one who owns the cell phone. Okay? So if you want to change a noun into a possessive noun, then you're going to add an apostrophe and s to the name that owns the other thing. Okay? Great. So possessive nouns show ownership, they show that you own something or people own other things. Okay? So we can conclude that the possessive nouns can be singular, nouns like Ahmed cell phone. Okay? Or they can be plural for many, for example, things, many objects, or many people. Like when we say boys, cell phones. Okay, now what is the difference between the first one and the second one? What's the difference between the singular noun and the plural noun? In the singular possessive noun, we added apostrophe and s to the first name or to the first noun because it's the owner here. Okay? Ahmed owns the cell phone. So when the noun or when the owner is one, singular, then we will just add an apostrophe and then s at the end of this noun. Okay? But if you are talking about, or if you are talking using plural nouns, then we're going to add just an apostrophe after the s. Okay? After the s of the plural noun. So here, boys, we are talking about the boys. We have boys, it's a plural noun. Okay? Now, when I change it to a plural possessive noun, I will add just an apostrophe at the end of boys because it has already an s. Boys here has already an S, so I will not add another S. I will just add an apostrophe after this. Oh, now what about if the plural noun does not end in S? For example, like children. Yeah, children here is a plural noun, and I want to change it to its plural possessive form. How can I change it? Alright, since it does not end in S here, so I need to add an S to it, like what I did or what I do with a singular noun. So with children, I will add an apostrophe and S. Okay? So it's going to be children's with an apostrophe first and then S, and then I will add the other noun, which is cell phone. Okay, or cell phones. So it's going to be children's cell phones. Okay, so remember that if the plural noun ends in S, then you would add just an apostrophe. If it does not end in S, you would add an apostrophe and S. Okay, that was all about the possessive nouns. Now let's move to the possessive adjectives. Alright, now the same thing here, we use the adjectives or possessive adjectives to show ownership. So what are the possessive adjectives that we can use? Alright, possessive adjectives like, for example, my, your, his, her, your for plural, our, their, and its. Okay, so for example, you can say my book is on the shelf. Okay, so in my sentence here I have a possessive adjective which is my, and I have a noun which is book. So we use possessive adjectives to show also ownership. Here in the sentence I'm saying, or I say that the book is mine, okay, it belongs to me, I have it, or I possess the book, and it's on the shelf, okay, my book, the book that belongs to me, it does not belong to anyone else, okay? So you can use possessive adjectives also like my, your, his, her, your for plural, our, their, and its to show also ownership or to say that something belongs to another thing, okay, or belongs to someone, okay? Great. Now, let's move to the third part of our lesson, which is the possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns. Okay? Now, possessive pronouns can be used also to show ownership, like, for example, mine, yours, hers, ours, theirs, and and its. Okay, so let's take an example. For example, we have here a sentence that says, that book is his. Okay, now what do we mean by a sentence, or what do we mean by this example? Now, we mean that that book or the book belongs to him. Okay, here is, or his, here, the word his in the sentence refers to a person, okay, that we are talking about, okay, to a third person who we are talking about, okay, so we say that that book is his, it belongs, or the book belongs to him, belongs to the boy, belongs to the student, okay, so here we have also an ownership, okay, we can understand that the boy or the student, okay, or the child has or possesses a book, okay. let's take another example. Those bags are theirs. Okay, now the same thing here. Okay, we say here that the bags belong to, let's say, to them, or to the children, to the students. Okay, we are using here plural nouns and plural pronouns. Okay, now let's see what is the difference between the possessive pronouns and possessive adjectives. Okay, alright, what is the difference between the possessive adjective and the possessive pronoun? In possessive adjective, we use a noun after it. We need or we must use a noun after it. For example, here I said my, and then I followed it with a noun, which is book. I said my book. Okay, so after using a possessive adjective, you need to use a noun. Okay, or you must use a noun. You say my book, your, let's say, bag, your notebook. Okay, your class, her, let's say, her shirt, and so on. Okay, but with the possessive pronouns, we don't use nouns, or we don't need to use nouns. Okay, they are used alone. So here we said that book is his. Do we have a noun after his? No, because it's a possessive pronoun. Okay, it does not need any noun. The same thing here with theirs. We don't use, or we didn't use any noun after theirs because it's used alone. It does not need any noun after it. Okay, so we reached to the end of this lesson. I hope that you learned and you got the benefit. See you next time.